Hateless Gaming here, bringing you guys a video on mining barge fittings. Today we're going to talk about the Hulk specifically and how I personally choose to fit my ships, and a couple of easy swaps that you guys can do on my fits in order to uh, suit your needs correctly. So without further ado, let's just kind of go ahead and hop right into it. We have here my main character, Buck Orbash, with all the skills, and this is a fancy Hulk. You can tell, nice little load strike skin and the three little cores in the middle. Um, let's talk about the fitting. It's really simple. This fit was designed with one idea in mind, and this is actually the one that I use and stream with and fly all the time. This is my Hulk fitting that I use and that I haven't published yet because I just haven't gotten around to it. Anyways, it's really simple. We have gone for max mining yield at the core of it. And I have type B crystals with a strip miner 2. If you want to use ore strip miners, that's okay. If you want to use Tech 1 strip miner or Tech 1 strip miners, that's fine as well. You always have to take into account whether or not you want to have waste or more yield. More yield and waste or less waste and less yield. And it's kind of a trade-off. You kind of have to make that decision for yourself. And I can't make it for you, but all you have to do to switch it around is if you want no waste, you can switch to strip miners. If you want no waste and you're willing to spend a little bit of money to mine a little bit faster, you can go to ore strip miners. That's really all you have to change on the fit. And then A and B types, we've talked about those in the previous video. And then we got the 3 mining laser upgrades as well. And then from here, our goal is to get, since we're at max mining yield now, our goal is to squeeze as much tank onto the ship as possible. What I found that did that really well is 2 medium core defense shield extenders, 2 Caldari medium shield extenders. So again, shield size, more shields, gets us up to 12,000 shields. And then we have 2 compact multi-spectrum shield hardeners. The reason why these are faction and these are meta is because the going faction on this is like 14 million ISK, and you can't fit the Tech 2 with the Tech 2. So you can go meta on these or cheap on these or not Tech 2 on these and then get Tech 2 on these for a little bit more tank. Kind of switch that around. With this, I get and Tech 2 crystals. I get 2,614 M3 per cycle. And then the B types just cycle faster than the A types. I believe ore strip miners pull in the same amount per cycle. So if I take this off, an ore strip miner pulls in 2,420 every 130 seconds. So it's at 18.6 M3 a second versus the B types 25, which is just nuts. And then Tech 1 strip miners with this fit get 1,815 every 130 seconds, which is 14 M3 a second. So it just depends on if you want to use the modulated or the Tech 1 to reduce waste, what you want to do. But this is a fit that I recommend for rocks if you're going to mine not ice. And rocks also have you... I guess you don't move around as much. Anyways, this works. If you want, you can switch out a hardener or a shield extender for a survey scanner, which would allow you to short cycle your rocks if you're just flying the one Hulk. It would be very beneficial for you to do that, but you lose some tank for that if you want to put a survey scanner on it. I normally carry hammerheads, but apparently I left them back behind. And then I carry A and B type crystals. I tend to only use the B types, so the A's just kind of sit around. And then for ice, I figured you guys would also like to see my ice fit as well. The logic behind this fit, we'll start with this fit, is that we get some boost, and with boost we get up to like 60k EHP. I do have max skills, and I am running a 5% 905 implant. This was 120 million ISK, but it gives me an additional 5% shield HP, bringing us from the I think it's like 47 to the 51. And that's how we get 51. And then with command bursts and the fact that we're in Ryzen, which is a eating com system, this thing sits pretty at like 60,000 EHP, and it's always orbiting in Orca. So it's never sitting still. You never want to sit still when you're mining. I know it sounds ridiculous, but when a suicide squad warps onto you, and that's the thing that's going to kill you. Sooner or later, they're going to kill you. But if your ship's in motion and moving at 120, 130 meters a second, because it's not going to be moving 200 meters a second when it's working. It's like 150, 120, depending on skills and whatnot. But if you're in motion and they warp to you, even if it's like a 30-second warp, you're not going to be at zero on the catalyst guns when they land on you. You're going to be a little further away. It forces them to use Corsairs, which aren't quite as effective, or it forces them to bring more ships to kill you. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to gank. The idea is max yield, making it as difficult to gank as possible. The ice theology is a little bit different. For ice, I have one set up in Circessian. We're going to go ahead and go into my assets here. And this is also, it's named Coveter, but it is in fact a Hulk. So this fits a little bit different. We've gone as far into max yield as absolutely possible. We have the 3 Ice Harvester upgrades with the Ice Harvester rig. And then we go Tech 2 Ice Harvesters. Again, if you want and you're nullsec, it might be worth to go Ore to make the belt last longer. Or if you like Ore, it has a slightly bigger range than the Tech 2. And I believe it mines just as fast if we take this off and throw an Ore on. I can't remember what the cycle time is. 130. That can't be right. Anyways, it looks like Ore is quite a bit slower, but it takes less time. But the... Oh, no, I did an Ore Harvester. 1 second. We got to go Ice Harvesters or throw that guy on. So that's 45 seconds. So like I said, it's the same cycle rate with a bigger range. And it doesn't cause waste, is why you'd use Ore Ice Harvesters. I personally use Tech 2 because I'm in high sec, and I don't mind stripping a belt because another one's going to spawn in 6 hours, and there's like 7 others that I can go to. So it's not a big deal to have residue with ice, and it's how I roll. I don't bother too much with residue. Anyways, I digress. On with continuing the discussion of this fit. Again, max yield was a priority. We did a core extender, and then I couldn't get, with the CPU, I couldn't get the second extender on it. So we do one extender, a thermal shield amplifier. The reason I picked thermal is because you're either going to get killed by catalysts or you're going to get killed by Corsairs. And the thermal protects against both catalysts and Corsairs. So it helps a little bit. And then the afterburner is a weird one. So instead of orbiting at 500, we orbit at 1,000, and it keeps us right at that 200 or 2,500 range to be able to interact with the Orca and drop ice into it. And then we're moving at like 300 meters a second, which is really nice. So again, when they warp to you to try and kill you, they warp to the point where they combat scanned you, right? And then you're going to be all the way over here on the other side of the Orca when they try to kill you. So it's a lot harder to hold on if something is moving, and then motion adds a lot more protection than EHP does. But we had to do this because I couldn't get the second extender on it. And then this is actually made up for not having the second extender rig in the Hulk fit. And we'll go into the Hulk fits in just a second. We'll go rock ice just like we did for the Hulks. But on the Hulk fit, we switch out a rig, or we don't switch out a rig, but we switch out a command burst for ice and rock. And then we get an extra command burst, so it kind of makes up that EHP loss for the rig. We can't really do that with rocks. So how I fly my Orca, this is again the rock Orca, is just, shield buffer, adding as much EHP as possible, a survey scanner, a DCU, reinforced bulkhead, 2 transverse bulkheads, and then a command processor. This allows the 4th command burst, which gives you either preservation charge or the second shield command link, whichever you prefer. For rocks, because I have a bulkier fit on the rock fit, we have a mining foreman with equipment preservation, and this allows the crystals to live longer. And yes, it's worth it. They're like 750k a piece, and if you don't use a preservation charge, they break pretty rapidly. When you use a preservation charge, they last a really long time. And then we used, I I'm not sure which is better, the shield extension or the EHP for the first burst, but the second burst would be the other if you were to do 2 shields. And then of course we have the 2 mining lasers, the one for range and the one for mining speed. But I think I have an EM, a thermal, and then 2 multi-spectrums, and then a survey scanner. This is really useful for ice. I don't really use it much in rocks when I'm multi-boxing, but if you're single boxing and you pay attention to what you're mining, you can mine a lot more efficient if you know how much is in each rock. And again, DCU, reinforced bulkheads. Like I said, it's a really simple fit. Rocks or ice is very similar. The only thing we changed for ice, and again, I have another one in Succession. Same pilot flies it. We named it Narwhal, and then we're going to go ahead and simulate the fit. The only thing that I changed is it has a second command burst for shields, so we take off the equipment preservation because we don't need equipment preservation. We need the extra shields because we have a squishier fit. And then both of the Orcas also have a large Indy Core 2 and a compressor that is relevant for the type of ore that they're mining. So this one has ice because it's the ice Orca, and the rock Orca has a rock compressor. And if you're mining moons, you'd need a moon compressor. So it just depends on what you're doing, and the swaps are really easy to fit. Again, the fit's identical. Nothing is different here. Although I do find the survey scanner really helpful in ice belts because you can figure out which ice rock has the most ore in it, and you can kind of shift the lasers around as needed. Yeah, that's basically it. The Orca should also have in his head, if you're going to have shields, and if you're just going to have shields, you would want the shield mine link. If you're just going to have ore, you would want the ore mine link. And if you are doing both, it is worth it to put in the ore director mining link because this allows one Orca to give both boosts. I would, however, if you're running 2 Orcas, have one doing the opposite link. So one be a shields focus and one be a the focus for not shields, mining links. But the ore director mining link gives both bonus towards shields and mining, which gives you the best yield. Anyways, this is kind of the video on my mining fits. It's basically the Orca supporting bulk, and with compression, the Orca can hold a lot. For ice, I tend to have an obelisk around. For rocks, I keep a mammoth in system to empty out the Orca should it need to, because ice compresses at 1 to 10 and rocks compress at 100 to 1. Yeah, 1 to 100, which is insane. So you can literally fit an entire day of mining. We, in fact, mined like 5 hours yesterday, and we only mined like 60,000 M3 of compressed ore, and that's the equivalent of 6,000 or 6 million M3 of uncompressed ore. So that's a thing. Anyways, make sure you guys fly fun. Enjoy your time in EVE Online. Continue bringing each other up. I hope you enjoyed my look into mining fits. These fits should, in theory, work everywhere. You just switch the upgrades and the lasers to what tailors your fit. And I will publish both of the Hulk fittings I'll publish all 4 of these fittings on my EVE Workbench and then post the link to a mining fleet which has all 4 of the fittings in it. But yeah, make sure you guys fly fun, continue bringing each other up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.